Hey, loves, welcome back to Day Spills Tea. I, of course, am the lovely Day, and I didn't even plan on talking to y'all today. Like, I know New Jersey came on the other night, and we got to talk about it because although I hadn't intended to, uh, listen, once I watched the episode, this Jennifer person, like, I do not understand how her mind works. I do not understand how she can't see where she's wrong. I don't understand why Teresa is pretending to care about what happens to Jennifer when she is really just trying to prove that she wasn't wrong. Anyways, they're all a mess. They are a complete and utter mess. Before I jump into that, though, go ahead and do the stuff you know I need from you. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Show me just a little bit of love. You know I do it for the likes. Don't even front on me like that. Make sure you leave some comments down below. Let me know what you thought about the episode. And let me know what you think about Jennifer and her behavior and her trying to dig stuff up on folks all the while she knows that her man was cheating on her. I don't understand. I do not understand. Anyways, if you haven't subscribed already, you can go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and hit subscribe, ring the little notification bell. That way you'll be informed every time I post a new video. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and get back into it. So the episode picks up where we left off at Teresa's party, her barbecue or whatever that she was having at her house. And Margaret is like, this is right after Margaret has dropped the bomb that she knows about Jennifer's husband Bill's cheating. And Jennifer didn't deny it. All she did was correct the mistress's job title. Okay, if that's what's important to you in that conversation, I'm not going to judge. So Margaret is like, Jennifer has constantly villainized me for cheating. So apparently Margaret cheated on her ex-husband. I'm not going to say that that's okay. Listen, whatever happened in y'all marriage, it happened and it's over. It's in the past. I guess Margaret wrote it in her book or something like that. Whatever it is, it's Margaret's business. But apparently, Jennifer has just made it her business to continuously come down on her about it, judge her for it, try to make her feel bad. And then they showed the clip where Jennifer is even dragging Margaret's mom, talking about your mom slept with somebody for 15 years. Like, your mouth is way too fly. You're not going to talk to me about my mother. I don't care if it's public news or not. You're not going to talk to me about my mother in a negative way. So I feel like she's really, really lucky that this ain't, I ain't gonna name no cities, but that this isn't one of those cities where you liable to get popped off in your mouth. Actually, she lucky it wasn't like Teresa Judice, because she might have popped her off in the mouth. Not saying that it's right to do that, but when you talk about people's mothers, like, the rules change. And I think we all know that the rules are a little bit different when you start talking about people's mothers or people's kids. Anyways, so I'm just like, I don't even know how Margaret moved past that to even be cordial to this person. And I know that I missed a couple of seasons, so I haven't seen the whole history of it. But again, you're not gonna talk to me about my mother and who she slept with or any. No, no. Anyway, so Dolores is feeling sorry for Jennifer because she's all a mess and all of this and everything. And I completely understand that. Jennifer is crying. And so Bill comes over and he hugs her and she basically lets him know that, everything has gone to hell. And so she leaves the party in tears, crying. And I know somebody said last week that her new nose looks better than her old nose. I just can't get with that. Like, the old nose looked natural because it was, but this one, because of that bridge thing, and I'm gonna leave it alone. This is gonna be the last time I talk about it. It just makes this part stick out so much further. Like, it seemed like so much nose meat. I don't know if they added something to the tip to make it pointier. I don't know what they did, but so now you got the cheating husband and the nose is not right. So the following day, she's having a pool party for her little girl, Olivia. I forget how old Olivia is, but she's having a pool party for her. And she's like, Bill is upstairs and he won't come down because he's so embarrassed. Honey, you should be embarrassed. You should be the one not coming down. You should be embarrassed because he done made a whole fool of you. And you sat up here and thought that nobody was ever going to find out about it. So you're dragging everybody else and treating other people terribly because you assumed that because you didn't talk about it, then nobody else ever would. And that's such a shame. Anyways, so Teresa and Dolores come over and Jennifer is basically telling them what happened. And what she says is that she was like 9 months pregnant. I think she said 10 days before she delivered their son Christian, she saw like bottle service receipts. She said he had been working a lot and he was feeling himself because he was making money. And I was thinking, like, girl, he wasn't working a lot. He was working, but he wasn't working. He was working. Anyway, so she's like, he was working a lot, so he was feeling himself because he was making money. And I saw a bottle service receipt, and then I saw text messages. And so she said she asked him about it. And she asked him, do you love her? He said no. And she said she asked him, is it over? And he said, it's been over. Like, Jennifer, when did you find the bottle service receipts? When did you see the text messages? Are you really going to stick your head in the sand? Because you have painted yourself this beautiful picture of perfection for your life, which none of us has, by the way. And so you're not even going to accept when something is in your face. I am under no circumstances am I saying that he is still cheating on her or that he continued cheating or anything like that. But why would she just assume that he's telling the truth when he says it's been over? Like, I really am curious to know, how old were the text messages you saw and how old was the bottle service receipt? Because I have a feeling they weren't very old. I have a feeling Ben would have been a stretch. I have a feeling it probably wasn't over at that time. It's just a coincidence that it was already over when you found this stuff. And then she said they never talked about it again. She had her baby and we never talked about it again. Now, I, for one, some people probably won't like this, but I believe that if one of the parties in a marriage experiences some infidelity, or does anything that is an act of betrayal, if the other person forgives them, I do believe that it should not be a normal topic of conversation. I think that if you have truly forgiven someone, then it is the right thing to do to not continuously harp on it and continuously punish them for that which you claim to have forgiven them for. But it doesn't sound like that's what Jennifer did. It sounds like Jennifer just stuck her head in the sand, that she just acted like it never happened. And I think that because she acted like it never happened and was so committed to that role, I really think that she stuffed it down into her memories. I really think that it was gone. I really, really think that it was gone. I know that I have personally had some tragedy in my life that I completely shoved down. And for years, if you had told me it had happened, I wouldn't have believed you because it was gone. Until there were certain things that came up that triggered the memories. And then it was like, holy crap, that had happened. And so I'm wondering if she kind of had a similar experience where this was so bad and so catastrophic to her because she thought she had this perfect life. You see her telling her mom or whoever that was, that I have the husband of every woman's dreams and he's perfect and he's respectful and all of that. And then it turned out to not be true. And that's not to say that Bill isn't a great guy, because people make mistakes. People do dumb stuff. People do dumb stuff, myself included. We make mistakes. So I'm not going to say that he's a horrible guy or that he's not a good husband. But honey, he wasn't being respectful when you were 9 months pregnant and he was out doing whatever. He wasn't. And he certainly wouldn't have been the man of my dreams while I'm trying to carry your child. So anyways, whatever. So yeah, it just really, really intrigues me that her behavior though has been such that nothing was ever going to come back up to bite her. So you keep on dissing Margaret. They show clip after clip after clip of you dissing Margaret for cheating. You dragged Margaret's mom for cheating. And then Margaret and Dolores are out at the furniture store, and Margaret breaks the news that Jennifer has been trying to dig up stuff on Jackie's husband. What is wrong with you? Like, I don't understand. So I'm assuming that all this stuff happened beforehand. So you were sitting up here talking to Dolores's ex-husband Frank, asking him for pictures of somebody or whatever. And then I guess she reached out to some mutual friends that she had with Jackie and Margaret, and she was asking them questions and trying to get them to spill tea and all of this and everything. Girl, that is malicious. That is malicious. Like you wanted it to be true, first of all, but you wanted to be able to have receipts to hold over that woman's head at some point. And while Margaret is explaining that this happened, Jackie is somewhere talking to Jennifer crazy behind, and she's like, "Oh, if we're going to be friends, then we can't do this thing where we try to destroy each other anymore." Oh, honey, little do you know. And of course, when Jackie says that to Jennifer, Jennifer is sitting up talking about, well, Margaret did that to me. Was she not wrong? First of all, Margaret didn't try to destroy you. You was flipping out and acting a nut. And Margaret dropped a bomb on you to let you know that you need to back up off of her. That's what she did. She didn't try to destroy you. She didn't shout it. She didn't have an airplane write it in the sky or anything like that. She didn't publish it to a tabloid. She told you to your face so that you could know that you need to get out of hers. I can't say I would have done it. I can't say I wouldn't have. But you shouldn't try people when you got stuff. You shouldn't try people like that when you got your own stuff, mama. That's a bad idea. Very, very bad idea. Oh my God. So you're trying to find stuff on Jackie's husband. You just sat up here and dragged Dolores and I mean not Dolores, Margaret and her mother, and this comes out. And so now she wants to be a victim. So then later Dolores is having her housewarming at her new townhouse. The ladies are all there with the exception of Teresa. And Jennifer comes and she starts acting like she's paralyzed with fear and she can't walk into the room. She might have legitimately been paralyzed with fear because something is not right. So she may have really, really been stuck, physically stuck. So Jackie is trying to be the good person, and Jackie goes over and talks to her, and she's just acting like this scared little child. But you're not innocent, though. You're not innocent at all. Like, I just don't even, oh my God. I don't even understand why she thinks it's okay to behave the way that she behaves. So Dolores comes over and she's like very military and she's like, stop crying. This isn't you. Stop crying. And I'm like, I don't understand the purpose of what Dolores is doing right now because you're just going to make her further upset. And so Margaret comes and Margaret's asking her, what are you crying for? What are you crying for? Oh, Margaret, did you forget that you just outed her man for cheating? Why are you acting brand new? So Margaret sits down and tries to talk to her about it. And I understand that Margaret kind of felt like, look, I don't want to keep hurting your little feelings. I don't want to keep hurting your little family or anything like that. But Margaret is like, but I need you to acknowledge that you have done wrong also. But Jennifer can't. She's just like, no. Everything that I have critiqued you on, girl, bye. Everything that I have critiqued you on are things that you've been very vocal about. Just because Margaret says that she did something doesn't mean that she's proud of it and doesn't mean that she wants your judgment on it. So you're not going to sit up here and act like you had wholesome intentions when you were dogging her out about her past. So you just can't do that. You just really, really can't. So then Margaret reminds her that you also was trying to dig stuff up on Jackie, and Jackie overheard it. So Jackie, of course, comes over and she is like, okay, you trying to dig stuff up on my husband when your husband actually did stuff. And Jennifer is still just playing the victim. She's so hurt. You were wrong and it was mean and you were mean to me. And then she starts crying and it's going to seem so insensitive. But girl, the tears don't mean anything to me after what you have been doing. And after people are trying to talk to you calmly and you just refuse to accept any accountability whatsoever. How do adults get this way? How do you get to be well into your adulthood, raising a whole family full of children, and you have not learned that you have to look at the role you play in things and accept some accountability? And so she's bawling her eyes out, talking about some, you think crying makes me weak? I'm brave. Girl, who told you that? You crying in front of this group of women ain't no brave. You just crying. You just crying. It's brave. No, it's not. It's not. And so Melissa is kind of chiming in. And so then Tiki Barber's wife starts talking about, I don't know how they don't see why she's breaking down. Listen, I think they see why she's breaking down. She's breaking down because she's embarrassed. She's breaking down because she had no intention on facing this. And now she has to face it. She has to deal with it. She keeps saying, but it's my kids and all of this and everything. If I'm not mistaken, Jackie has kids too. But you didn't care about that. You was going to still try and dig stuff up on her. So what? Like really? So when are you going to make sure that your behavior is such that you don't attract people trying to do things that will hurt you or your kids? I'm just like this is remarkable to me. This woman pretending to be such a victim and so blown away by this revelation that she was already aware of but chose to ignore. Honey, I remember when I was a kid, I was so deathly afraid of the dark. Okay? And I figured that if I put my head under the covers where I could not see anything anymore, then that meant nothing could see me either. And that's Jennifer. She figures if she pulls the covers up over her head, if she doesn't pay it any attention, then no one else will either. And it's just not true. You and your husband weren't the only ones who knew about his affair. You got the girl, you got the folks at the office, you got his other friends and things who probably knew. So sooner or later, it was going to come out. And so you shouldn't have been so judgmental towards Margaret. You shouldn't have been judgmental towards Evan and Jackie. And you damn sure shouldn't have been trying to find evidence against Evan under the guise of it was curiosity. It's human nature to be curious. Girl, please. You need to fall back from this show and spend some time dealing with your stuff. Like really spend some time dealing with your stuff. Get to a point to where you can actually forgive your husband, because pretending the problem doesn't exist doesn't mean that you've got to a point to where you can forgive him. And that's probably why you're experiencing so much hurt. It's because you actually haven't dealt with it. And she even said at one point, I never got the chance to deal with it. No, you chose not to. You absolutely chose not to. Can somebody please tell me in the comments, like, what is your theory as to why people keep joining these housewife shows, knowing that they have these crazy skeletons and then acting like everything is so terrible when the skeletons come out? Mary Cosby, Jen Shaw, Erica Girardi, and all of the rest of y'all that got these crazy lives behind the scenes. And then once it's exposed, like, why y'all come on TV? I don't know. Anyways, that's all I have for today. I just really had to talk about little Miss Jennifer Aydin or whatever. And then next week, I'll be interested in seeing what happens with Dolores and Jackie, because Jackie, she's trying to tear your whole household up. Why are you sitting up there telling her that Dolores isn't her friend? You about to sit up here and get whooped up by Dolores because you trying to make buddy with Jennifer? Girl, that don't seem smart. That don't seem smart at all. Anyways, look out for in the future. I'm going to be doing some Reddit posts and Facebook posts, some entertaining threads. It'll be kind of along the vein of like Bridezilla, wedding stuff, trashy stuff. Am I the a-hole stuff or whatever? Keep an eye out for that. Check it out. Give it a try. See if you like it. And then let me know your thoughts on it. But until then, thanks so much for watching. Bye.